The Cult of We. WeWork, Adam Neumann, and the Great Startup Delusion. By Eliot Brown and Maureen Farrell. Read for you by Therese Plummer. For Dad, Mom, and Nick. Eliot. For Jason, Cecilia, and Annabelle. Maureen. Built into the speculative episode is the euphoria, the mass escape from reality that excludes any serious contemplation of the true nature of what is taking place. John Kenneth Galbraith, A Short History of Financial Euphoria. Author's Note. The implosion of WeWork in September 2019 was an astounding moment in business. Nearly $40 billion in value on paper vanished, virtually overnight, as the investment world woke up to the reality that America's most valuable startup wasn't a tech company, but simply a real estate company, one that was losing more than $1.6 billion a year. Its charismatic, hard-partying CEO, once lionized as the archetype of the modern-day visionary startup founder, suddenly became a target for criticism, particularly for his self-enrichment. In the wake of the company's sudden unraveling, investors lost money and employees lost their jobs. The CEO left rich. As reporters covering the saga for the Wall Street Journal, we had seats at the forefront of this downfall, chronicling the company as it buckled and unearthing new details that became part of the story of its collapse. Still, despite an extensive reporting effort at the time, we were left with countless key questions unanswered. At the story's heart was a simple mystery. How did this happen? Why did some of the world's top investors and bankers fall under the spell of this company? How did capitalism contort to view something so inherently simple, a company leasing real estate, as a disruptive tech startup valued higher than Fortune 500 companies like FedEx and Target? Was the WeWork story an outlier? Or was it simply the most vivid example of a cultural rot that had formed within 21st century entrepreneurial and investment culture? In this audiobook, we attempt to answer these questions. While much was clear in public view, WeWork CEO Adam Neumann raised too much money, set expectations too high, partied too hard, and ultimately flew far too close to the sun. A more complex tale lay in the underlying infrastructure that enabled the office subleasing company's rise and fall. WeWork's money trail led to the country's top banks, to a Middle Eastern monarchy eager to transform its economy, to mutual funds hungry to get a piece of the Silicon Valley action. The trail led to an eccentric and insecure Tokyo tycoon who yearned to be taken seriously by the American technology elite. There was a whole system thirsting to believe in the vision of a messianic and charismatic founder and the profits he could seemingly deliver. It's a story about the toxic brew of confirmation bias, fuzzy math, and hubris. It's a story about what people will do when they are allowed to spend other people's money with minimal oversight. Our portrait of the WeWork saga draws on interviews with more than 300 individuals who have shared their time, knowledge, experiences, and materials. It includes interviews with former and current WeWork executives, staff, and board members, SoftBank staff, bankers, advisors, investors, landlords, rivals, friends, and family members of the Neumanns, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi-san, and numerous others. The vast majority of these people spoke on the condition that we would not reveal their identities as sources, with many citing non-disclosure agreements they signed with WeWork or other parties involved. Neumann declined to sit for an interview for this book. Still, he was presented with the facts about him we intended to include, and through a representative, he provided feedback on a portion of those facts, which informed our writing. Throughout the audiobook, we refer to people by their surnames on second reference. To avoid confusion over Adam and Rebecca Neumann when they are mentioned in close proximity, we refer to her as Rebecca. While many of these interviews were conducted in 2020, after WeWork's fall, this book is also the product of years of reporting for the Wall Street Journal. Eliot Brown
Sample complete. Ready to continue?